Hello, welcome to Crafting with Lee. Today I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful peacock wreath. These are the supplies I'm going to use to make this wreath. These peacock feather picks are what inspired this whole wreath. I think they're so beautiful. I'm going to use 21-inch Deco mesh and 12-inch Deco mesh. And I'm also using 2.5-inch ribbon and 1.5-inch ribbon. Okay, I'm going to start by opening all of the ties in my work form. I'm going to start doing the outside first, so I'm just pushing the middles in, and then I'm going to open the outside. This just helps so you don't have to do it as you're going through. Alright, I'm going to use a zip tie to secure my mesh to the wreath form, but you don't have to. You could just put it into one of the ties. So I'm going to gather all of the mesh in my hands, and I'm going to find a good starting point. I like to connect mine to a crossbar and the ring that goes around. And I'm just using zip ties to connect them. Once I trim away my zip tie, I'm going to use scissors to cut the mesh. And that just makes it look a little neater. It keeps it out of the way. Right, I made this mesh holder out of an old, I think it was a paper holder. I just added nails to make it longer. It helps a lot. But you can actually buy mesh holders. Alright, I'm doing about 12-inch poofs to start. I will go back and add ruffles with the blue. And then I like to fluff each poof as I go along. It makes it a lot easier in the end. And I'm only twisting the tie once because I want to add more mesh and ribbon. Once you've gone around all of the outside ties, instead of using a zip tie, you can just go to the next inner tie and just twist once, and then when you come back around, you'll just open it up to add your last poof. And now I'm just going to continue around the middle ring. And it's helpful to go around and open your inside ties and push the outside ones out of the way. Alright, once I get all of the mesh added to all of the ties, I'm going to secure it with a zip tie. You don't have to use zip ties. I sell my wreaths, so I like to make sure they're really secure and not going to come apart. But if you're making one for your own front door, you can just twist them in the tie and they should be fine. Now I'm going to trim away the excess mesh and just push it through the back of the frame. Alright, I'm going to use this 12-inch metallic blue mesh, and I'm going to cut it at 20 to 21 inches to make my ruffles. I think I end up needing 18 because I have 18 ties. And you don't have to use a big cutter like this. You can use scissors or a rotary cutter. My rotary cutter is really dull. Alright, to make my ruffle, I'm going to curl at the beginning. Then gather it all in the center like an accordion. And then I just roll the end. I just think it's pretty. It looks like a butterfly. Alright, I'm going to open each of my ties and add the mesh to it. And then again, I'm only twisting once because I'm going to add more ribbon. And I'm just going to show you again. You can put something heavy to hold it flat, and then you just curl, then gather, and then curl again. The one great thing about using work wreath forms for this kind of technique is you can see both colors. When you use the flatter wreath forms, you tend to lose the undercolor. Alright, I am cutting my ribbon at 14 inches. And again, I'll need 18 of each. I'm cutting both types at 14 inches. And then I'm just going to dovetail the ends where I fold it in half and then fold it in half again and then cut away from myself. I really like the way these ribbons look together. Once I put these on the wreath, I thought it looked a little plain, and I decided to add some tulle to it. Tulle is really hard to work with Deco mesh because if it sticks, it's like Velcro. It doesn't let go. And this is an easy way to cut your tulle. I just find something that's the size I want and then just wrap it around and around and around, and then I'll trim it. I didn't do tulle in each section. I just kind of went through and made a pattern that I like. But it brings a different texture to it. I really like it. And see, once you cut it, you have perfect pieces. The same thing to the green. These are all of the ribbons that I'm going to add. So I'm going to show you how I add the tulle. And it's about 10 inches, maybe 12 inches. I can't remember exactly. It's shorter than the ribbon. But be careful adding it to the Deco mesh. Do not touch it unless you are putting it in there because it sticks. And then if you have cheaper mesh, it will like start pulling the strings out, so it'll make it fray worse. And then I twist it 3 times. Now on this particular wreath, I decided to leave the ties visible just because they went with the color scheme and I really liked, again, the texture that it brought. But you could tuck them in or curl them or even cut them off. I don't like to cut things off of wreath forms because once your wreath fades over time, you can always take it apart and still use the base. Because if you hang them outside, after a while they'll get faded or they just might be out of date and you just want to update it. And work wreath forms cost more than the flat ones. And now I'm just fluffing my ribbon. And you can see here where when I curl the beginning of the ruffle, it makes it look like I have curls in there too. Right, I'm just cutting and pulling apart all of my feathers so I can put them in individually. I just wanted them sprinkled throughout the wreath. Alright, and to attach them, I try to find the bars underneath. Some of them I ended up sticking through the mesh. And then I'm going to turn it over and show you how I attach it. If this hurts your fingers, you can use pliers. But I'm just twisting it around several times so it stays. And you also want to make sure any sharp edges aren't poking out of the back because it can scratch a door. Because the peacock feather picks are on a wire, I can manipulate it to where I want it and it'll pretty much stay. And I can kind of curl it and bend it. So I'll go around and do that to all of the peacock feathers, and I just kind of sprinkled them through, try to make them even. And that's it. That's how I made my peacock wreath. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or you can contact me at craftingwithlee@yahoo.com. Thanks so much for watching. And if you like my video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.